Hello, fabulous friends and fans. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of September 6, 2015. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This week, in a lot of ways, the overall mood, the overall energy is actually going to be a feeling of anticipation. And that's because next week there are some really big changes, big shifts in energy set to take place, and big breakthroughs set to happen for us collectively, for all of us, but also on our own individual journeys as well. So of course I'll be here to talk about it then, but to put that into context now, in many ways, while there are some celestial conversations taking place, where it comes to major celestial conversations, it's pretty quiet, okay? And in at least one case, kind of rare, but for the most part, and again, the energy is that we know that a change is coming. We know that we're ready to get a fresh insight, a fresh breakthrough, and to make a big change. All of us in some way. And so when that happens, okay, sometimes there tends to be a feeling of dissatisfaction. And this actually should be very embraced because dissatisfaction is ultimately showing us where it is that we desire change. Now, sometimes that change is in circumstances, right? Sometimes that change is not so obvious. It's not so much about what needs to change in our world as much as what needs to change within ourselves and within our own perception as well. So allow whatever emotions come up. They'll be growing stronger and stronger as the week goes by. And understand that that which now is feeling like a sore spot, is feeling like a spot of frustration, will soon give way to a whole other way of being and a whole other way of understanding that very area of life. So, big theme this week is slow awareness taking place day by day. The major celestial conversations this week are actually Mars speaking with Uranus. Now, Mars speaks with Uranus about once every year or so. And when these two planets speak, it tends to be a time when we're really running with energy. We're feeling like all of a sudden we get this fresh burst of idea, of inspiration, a real understanding of where it is that we want to commit our energy. But more than that, this has to do with an understanding of self. It has to do with saying, okay, this is what I know to be true about me, and now I'm going to live it. So all of us in at least one way are going to get some insight into what it means to be you as an individual and what it means to actually live from that place of self-truth. This should feel liberating. This should feel awakening. And also to a lot of people out there, I think this should feel exciting as well. There will be excitement in the air, and for some people, this may even be, as we are approaching the early days of this week, there may even be a feeling of strong attractions to other people as well that seem to come out of nowhere, and that is definitely showing you where it is that the universe ultimately is trying to get you aware of what you feel, of who you are. Now, I like to think of Mars as creation energy. That's part of what Mars is about. And Mars is about getting in touch with that ultimate knowing of I am, and then exerting yourself, actually taking action and living that, but in a very deliberate way. It's not quiet. Mars is not a quiet energy. Mars is a very active principle in the sky. You add to this conversation with Uranus, and we have got some very quick ways to act out your truth. Very quick ways to take action that ultimately free you and allow you new options, new opportunities, and for some, even your own personal revolutions as well, where all of a sudden it clicks. What needs to change? What must change now if you are going to truly feel like the best of you is there coming forward, like you are owning the very best of you and living from that space as well. So this can be a time of very quick turnarounds, positive turnarounds at that. This can also be a time, I gotta say, because of the strong physical nature of the sign of Mars, both of these placements are in fire signs. This can be a time when all of a sudden, if you've had a physical ailment that's been kind of bugging you and you haven't been sure what's really going on, just in a snap, you could get it. It might be the solution. It might be that something you've been doing to take care of your health finally kicks in. Or it might be if there's an emotional connection, you get that clarity you need to instantly feel better, surprisingly so, like being liberated on a physical level of where you felt physically restrained. For others, this is going to be more about your motivation, more about saying, you know what, I got to live this, I got to go for this, I got to fight for this. And whether that fight is being a spiritual warrior, right? Because that really is when Mars is at its best, when it understands that the competition is only with you. But when you understand that you maybe haven't been living up to your potential and you see it and you demand more of you in an instant, you're able to also deliver that very best of you, making yourself feel very proud, truly proud of yourself. So all of us in some way should find ourselves summoning the very brave energy that leaves us feeling impressed with who we are in some way. Also this week, Mercury will be speaking with Pluto in the sky. Now, this type of conversation is what astrologers call a square, and it's a conversation of motivation. It's one of tension as well. And so when I look at this, this could be some really tough negotiations. This could be because Mercury right now is moving through the sign of Libra, and Mercury right now is in shadow. We'll begin to go retrograde next week, so keep that in mind. But Mercury being in shadow right now, speaking with Pluto, does suggest that this is going to be the first of 3 conversations that take place for Mercury, between Mercury and Pluto in the weeks to come. So this is the first, and this is going to start showing us, for some of us, this is going to be what agreements can we live with and what really don't work with us. What compromises are okay and what really are not. And so there's going to be this element of having to consider different perspectives and having to think, okay, where is it that I'm not going to play the power game? Where is it that I am going to practice acceptance? But also, where is it that you are going to draw a line, whether it's in the sand or whether it's in stone? What is your bottom line? And getting clear on that, getting honest with yourself on that, while knowing that it is an ongoing process. As I said, it's the first of 3 conversations set to take place over the coming weeks. So this is going to be that insight, that understanding into where it is that you need to find your own bottom line. You need to come to an understanding of where it is that you can be flexible, you can make compromises, and where it is that that doesn't work for you, and to find ways to express that ultimately are not about gaining power over anyone else, any situation, any institution, but actually are more about understanding ultimately what it is that you need someone else to understand, or what it is within you that you desire to be understood. So conversations could start taking place now, negotiations could start taking place, whether it's personal in terms of romantic alliances, business alliances, or again, whether it has to do with your interactions on larger levels with institutions as well. So if you are in the process of learning, right, then embrace it as part of an experimentation, because as I said, it's an ongoing conversation that is set to begin right about now. You are learning about yourself. You are learning. We all are going to be learning about that very bottom line, and it is highly relative. It's different for people and it's different in different situations. So it is about being open, and yet being open to self-knowledge as well. When you're connected to a knowing within yourself, really, you cannot make a wrong choice. Well, thank you so much for watching the introduction to this week. I'm truly so grateful for it. I love our interactions online, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, my website, nadiyashah.com, and the YouTube comments as well. I love reading you guys. I try to acknowledge you, answer you whenever I can. You all have been so amazingly supportive. Last week, I actually celebrated 9 years as a full-time astrologer, 9 years when my website launched, and I shared a little bit of that online and got so much love It really moved me. So thank you so much, everybody out there who liked or commented or plussed or shared what I shared a little bit about my own journey, and really how much it has meant to me, and how much you, as my friends and fans, have changed me, and how much you guys make me better. You make me braver. And the vision that I had 9 years ago for what this was supposed to be, what my work as an astrologer was going to be, is so different than what it is today. But what it is today is so much greater than anything I could have planned for myself. So when I wrote that post, I was actually like in tears of gratitude. So I'm going to try not to go there because I could be a little bit like that sometimes. But really, my heart is full of gratitude. Thank you so much for walking with me, for being part of my spiritual growth, and for sharing some small part of your sacred journey with me. I also want to send a very big happy birthday to possibly my biggest fan on the entire planet, and that is my mother. It's my mother. My mother's name is Naz, and she comments on just about everything I post online. She shares everything as well, and she actually is fans of a lot of different YouTube astrologers as well. So she's been such a great supporter of me. Of course, when I see the list, right, all the subscriptions she has, I'm #1, and I love that about her so much. But just her openness and her understanding that wisdom comes in so many ways, and the more that people share, the more we all are stronger, and especially when we share our truth, our interpretations, our perceptions. And that's why I always say, whenever an astrologer reaches out to me, or someone new, or somebody saying, wow, I really hope that I'm going to have a sort of set of knowledge eventually at some point. I hope to have a YouTube channel when I'm ready at some point. My advice always is do it. Share. When you're ready, when it feels right to you, because the more of us that share, the more of us that shine, that gives permission for even more to do the same in their own lives. And so I absolutely love it that I am my mom's #1. My mom is my #1 fan, but at the same time, she is participating in the support and the encouragement and the sharing of a lot of other YouTube astrologers out there. And I think that's one of the things I love about her most. And actually, truth be told, I too love a lot of you guys out there who are also doing your thing on YouTube or sharing in your own way and a part of the astrology community. And I feel really grateful to be a part of this very special community as well. I love your comments, as I said, but sometimes your questions do get a little bit personal. If you'd like me to have a look at your specific situation, at your birth chart, to answer questions that are more personal to your unique situation, please do consider a personalized horoscope where I can do just that. There's a whole bunch of different focuses you can choose. Or if you have a special focus or specific questions, you can choose that as well. I've got 3 new areas of focus that have become really popular, so thank you guys so much. One has to do with love and luck. The other has to do with career, money, and luck. And the third has to do with life purpose. So those are the new areas of focus. But there's this whole list of different things that I can look at for you. And if you're unsure, send me a message to my website. And I'm happy to and grateful, and I know it is a privilege to look at your chart. So thank you so much for that. And of course, I know it's a privilege that you're watching. I really believe that this moment is everything, really. This moment allows me to live my mission. Everything I put into the world is to affirm in the world that the universe is wise and loving. And I love it that you are here right now to allow me to live that mission. But also, my genuine hope is that in some way this video reminds you that there is a larger mystery at play and infuses your life with some hope, with some inspiration, and some small reminder, if possible, of a divine plan that I actually think is there for all of us. And that plan does involve ownership for our own experience and our own power as well. So thank you again for watching the introduction and for this connection with you. So how all this wonderful things happening this week speak to you and your sign is coming up right now. Hello, fabulous Aries. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking in supreme harmony with Uranus. This suggests to me that there is going to be a breakthrough for you. A supreme happiness opens up for you as well, and an understanding of how you are stepping into your own power that much more and that much more easily at that. For some of you out there, this is going to manifest in terms of romance, and so if you are open to love, this is the time to get your flirt on. In fact, I think that the chance of you surprisingly flirting with somebody and maybe not even realizing that's what's happening, and then it turns out, yeah, that was what was happening, could end up being an absolute delight. For a few of you out there, though, I just want you to be a little bit cautious, because we do have that conversation happening between Mercury and Pluto, as I spoke of in the introduction. And Mercury right now in your opposite sign. And so this to me does suggest, now it's one thing to flirt, right? And it's one thing to enjoy the feelings of love, whether you're in a relationship or open to meeting somebody new. It's another thing to really commit to another person, to share and have to consider their perceptions and to be considerate ultimately of somebody that you are partnered with, romantically or otherwise. And especially if you are in a committed relationship, this could be a time when there's some tough negotiations going on. And what I mean by that is, if this is someone you are committed to, and you know you love, and the love is mutual, then this is about finding that fair ground and coming to a new understanding of what this relationship is going to be. And this also really has to do with having the tough talk, having that difficult conversation. And in some cases, this might also be, if you are in a committed relationship and you love this person, but you've known for a while that you need some couples therapy, this is going to be the week that says, okay, we have to do this. We got to go this way. But this energy can also manifest in terms of business alliances as well. And this energy can also manifest where it comes to having to consider what agreements are fair if you are trying to align with somebody that you hope will represent you in some way. Okay, so if you're looking for an agent or somebody, just be mindful that we've got Mercury here, Mercury in shadow. It just suggests to me that if you can hold off, like this might be somebody promising you the sun and the moon, or this might be somebody you're perceiving as a really big power player, but might not be as much as you hope. So just be mindful of that. Also, if this is a time when you've been in a relationship, but now it's beginning to go separate ways, which happens sometimes as well, this may not be the best time to start doing those negotiations that involve, divvying up things. This may not be the best week to sit down with that mediator or that lawyer. Rather, I would say focus on your happiness, focus on your feelings of freedom, and nurture those, okay? Let other people be whoever it is that they need to be. You are feeling happy, but also there's a lot of creative and fertile energy as well in the air. And so you can use that in a million different ways, and you can use that in ways that ultimately allow you to connect with what really matters and what really matters to you. And that self-knowledge alone will make all your interactions that much smoother. Hello, fabulous Taurus. This week we've got Mercury having an interesting conversation with Pluto, which suggests to me that you really want to be careful in the workplace, okay? So this is a time when words, whether written or said, can be perceived in ways not necessarily intended, or can be perceived in ways that ultimately either don't feel right, don't sit right, can be hurtful as well. So you want to be conscious to not participate in anything like that. No matter how relaxed you feel around certain people, it's a better idea this week, if you can, to play it a little bit more conservative than usual and to be especially mindful of your words. However, if you have been in a workplace situation where there have been some factors there that have been undesirable, okay, this is going to be a time when your awareness of that and your impatience of that starts to rise more and more to the surface. So be mindful of what you're feeling as you navigate this week, particularly amongst your co-workers. Be mindful of where people might perceive you or someone else might be doing a little bit of power game stuff. That won't sit well with you at all this week. So strive to be patient, but also to trust your path and see what action it may be leading you to take. And where it comes to action, that's where there's a lot of magic actually this week because of this conversation between Mars and Uranus. So this very positive conversation, for some of you, this will just be good news around your family of origin, around your parents. For others of you, this will be good news around issues of home, so the actual space that you live in. But I actually think for others of you, this is going to be an insight that all of a sudden helps you understand some dynamic that's playing out in your life right now and the wisdom of that dynamic. It's like that proverbial light bulb moment, if you will, set to take place that illuminates what kind of patterns you sort of found yourself in and why. When it comes to love this week, I actually think that the connection so far this week is, it really just has to do with, you know, I'm just going to say this, we are building towards a big eclipse. And I spoke about this in the monthly horoscope for this month, for your love-focused horoscope especially. And I actually think that there's going to be this feeling of change building throughout this week. And you are going to be brought down to more mundane issues, and you might not be crazy about it. It's like, oh, okay, I got this work to do. But really, I feel like love is going to start happening. I want to be more active, or I want to do more, or I feel like changes are coming, and what am I going to do about it? And what am I going to do about the things I don't like? Like, all of these feelings are there, and they're growing stronger throughout the week. And then it's like the universe saying, yeah, but look what's in front of you to do. Yeah, but pay attention to whether it's the work environment, if you work for yourself, pay attention to your own business, pay attention to your clients. That's where the universe is going to continually be directing your attention. And a part of you is going to be feeling like having to learn to compartmentalize is going to be one of the big lessons this week. So whether you're in an established bond, having to work some issues through, or whether you are open to meeting someone new, this is that anticipation. This is that knowing that you are preparing for bigger love, and you can feel it growing throughout this week. You can feel a growing confidence as well throughout this week, knowing that actually there are options in love and that there is love in the world for you. Hello, fabulous Gemini. This week we've got your ruling planet, Mercury, speaking with Pluto. So even though Mercury, what I really like is that Mercury is in fellow air sign. Even though Mercury is in fellow air sign, this type of conversation does suggest that you are going to be having to do a little bit of digging, or you may be doing some digging where there's not a lot there to actually be found. It looks like a part of you might be feeling a little bit where it comes to matters of heart, and there's a few ways to understand this. Now, this could be a romantic alliance. This could also be around your kids if you have children as well. But this looks like a time when you may be feeling that something is being kept from you, and you're wondering how you're going to deal with it, how you're going to go about healing the situation as well. So, of course, what I really do love about your sign is that you're able to see different issues, right? You're able to see different aspects. You're able to look at something, okay, I feel this, it could mean this, it could mean that. I found this receipt, it could mean this, it could mean that. And being willing to actually consider those different possibilities is one of your strengths. But it does look like for some of you, it may have been a long time coming, and it looks like it isn't going to be like sort of like, okay, this is it. This is part of an ongoing process that ultimately is going to reveal the level of trust that you have. So whether it's trust in someone that you love and are committed to, whether it's trust in love, right? Where it has to do with like, are you suspicious of people? Do you trust people? If someone's flirting with you, do you feel that you might end up losing something or giving away some power? Some really strong emotions would come to the surface. Some strong fears could come to the surface as well. But also a very casual flirtation could end up really capturing your attention to the point of obsession. So you want to watch that. And then, of course, as I said, with your children as well, this energy can manifest in those ways also. But overall, I do think it is going to be a good week. Yes, there's that little bit of mystery hunting, but at the same time, we've got this wonderful conversation playing out between Mars and Uranus. And this is just friendships and conversations and running into the right people at the right time, getting that boost of energy that you need to feel returned to the power that you know you have, returned to a sense of not just equilibrium, but also to a place of optimism, of the possibilities of what is in front of you to do and how it is ultimately that you can energize your life very much to your advantage. Hello, fabulous Cancer. This week we have got some really interesting energy taking place in some very sort of hot spots, if you will, in your sky. And so these are called the angular areas of your sky. If you're an astrologer or a student of astrology, there are certain parts of the sky that are particularly sensitive. And those are being spoken of this week by the sky because of the conversation between Mercury and Pluto. Pluto right now, as you know, in your opposite sign. Mercury right now in a part of the sky for you that has to do with home base. And so it does look like there's going to be some negotiating taking place between you and a partner as to what is your space and what is shared space. It could be that you're weighing the pros and cons of having moved in with somebody or allowing somebody to move in with you as well. So there's a little bit of juggling going on there, a little bit of reconsideration going on there as well. But there's really going to be a part of you that is going to need space, that is going to need your privacy, that is going to need your proverbial room of one's own. So you will have to find some ways, some gentle ways to actually express what it is that you're feeling and express what it is that you need at this particular time. Because it does look like whether it's a creative project that you're preparing for, whether it's something that you're writing or wanting to express, it does look like there's a part of you that needs that space so that you can indulge ultimately what might in some ways be a vision, but that you really feel a sense of personal satisfaction of actually indulging it. So allow yourself to go there. But of all the signs, you know, I've been saying that this can be some really tough negotiation taking place. This can be getting really honest, really saying, look, we need therapy. This is saying we need to be more honest about what we've been doing, where we are now, where we are going, and also where it hasn't been working. This is also a time for you to be honest with yourself, whether you're in a relationship or not, where the results you've had in love haven't been working for you. This is a time to start to admit that to yourself, look at that for yourself so that you can heal that and actually move yourself towards the type of love that you desire to experience. What I also really like about this week for you is that Mars speaking with Uranus, that just says to me that you are in other realms feeling exceedingly positive and exceedingly optimistic. And that really has to do with career and money. It is career and money that's got big blessings right about now. And it looks like you're about to be presented with an opportunity that you grab very quickly and you run with, and very quickly ends up making you richer than you were before. Hello, fabulous Leo. This week we have got Mars in your sign, speaking in supreme harmony with Uranus. You are freeing yourself of the past, freeing yourself of dogma is really the best way that I can put it, and freeing yourself of these beliefs or expectations that don't really reflect the direction you desire to go in next. So there's going to be a real desire now for you to make progress in your life, to gather momentum, and to gather the momentum of life being an adventure. How are you going to claim that? How are you going to express that? How are you going to move forward with that? These are all things that I think are going to be especially blessed for you right about now, very much on the surface for you right about now as well. And also thinking about ways to empower yourself that allow you to feel that you're preparing for a truly great future that's up for you, which definitely is continuing to reveal itself to you as well. In matters of love this week, I actually think when I look at your sky, we've got Mercury in a very talkative place for you, right? So you are having conversations which is awesome. But we have also got, we've got Pluto speaking with this particular Mercury. And look, to me, this is all about the Freudian slip, really, is what this says to me. And so you want to be really, really mindful, especially where it comes to people's feelings and in matters of love as well. Whether you're in an established bond, whether you're open to meeting somebody new, this could be a time when you just relax a little bit too much and say something and actually surprise yourself by saying it. Like if you are meeting somebody new and you're like, oh wow, and you find yourself flirting with somebody, and then all of a sudden you're spilling your guts about your ex, that is one of those oh wow things, right? That you want to go, oh wow, okay, what's going on with me? But also saying things about what you may believe about yourself and surprise yourself. Wow, I didn't realize I believed that about myself. I didn't realize I thought that way about myself. I didn't realize that that was my expectation of relationships and love, or of this other person as well. So great time to watch your own words and learn a lot about yourself. And as you learn about yourself, really that starts to have a ripple effect that prepares you for experiencing even greater self-knowledge, yes, but also greater love, whether it's with the love that you have now or the love that you hope to have in the future. Hello, fabulous Virgo. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking with Pluto, and your ruling planet right now in a part of the sky for you that is about money, okay? We've got this conversation happening with Pluto. What I do love is that Pluto's in fellow Earth sign Capricorn, so there's lots of support taking place there for you. So it does look like matters of heart and what really matters to you. There's a deep connection on your part with that and a deep commitment to that. But there's also some money stuff to deal with as well as part of matters of celebration, matters of enjoying the love that you have, matters of enjoying your children. And this actually could be a time when one of your children needs money. One of your children comes to you and says, you know, hey, I need money. And you're like, whoa, the amount you need, I've got to mortgage the house. It could be that type of situation playing out, but it does look like the expense is something that seems to matter to you. And so you want to watch that as well. Is it that you are wanting something to happen and you're using money to try and make something happen that ultimately the other players involved either don't really care about or don't really want? So be mindful of all this as well. Be mindful of your expectations of others, because when you have that sense of open-heartedness, when you have that sense of play, then only good things can come from that energy. But when you have a certain expectation of people that they've got to be a certain way, they've got to participate in a certain way for you to experience joy, that's when things start going on rockier roads, if you will, right? So you want to watch that a little bit. And this especially is true in matters of love and matters of heart. So this could be a time when either you are feeling like you've got to give more to somebody that you love, spend more money. It might just be on a money level as well. But there might also be questions around what is it actually that you believe you have to give in order to ultimately receive? What is it do you believe about your worthiness to receive? Like, are you innately worthy to receive the type of love that you desire? There is set to be at least one moment, whether you're in an established bond or whether it's with someone new or whether it's through a conversation you're having and you come to realize there is going to be some moment when you realize that maybe you've been putting in a certain amount of energy thinking that that will make you more lovable. But of course, ultimately it is you and being open to love and being willing to love in your smallest moments that does make a person that much more easier to love. And that really is where your power is going to be. So focus on the day, focus on your own heart, and you will find love, whether it's the love you have or the love that you want, flows that much easier to you. Hello, fabulous Libra. This week we've got lots of energy that is really speaking to you, and really you are at the heart of the different cosmic dances that are taking place. So part of the reason is because Mercury is moving through your sign. Mercury is in shadow now and will next week begin to go retrograde. So this week Mercury is making its first of 3 conversations that it will ultimately come to have with Pluto. And this to me does represent sort of one of those moments that makes you say to yourself, like, who am I really? And are you going to live it? Are you going to demonstrate it? How are you going to demonstrate it? There's a little bit of a shock moment for you as well. A little bit of a moment where maybe whether you're spending time with family or people that you're very comfortable with, people you're comfortable with in your past as well. It may even be just on home front, like you're actually just hanging out at your home when you have this very sudden moment where actually it's not that sudden. It's been building for a while, but it's like you finally accept it. You finally sit in that moment where you say, oh my God, I am not happy about fill in the blank. Oh my God, the life I have or what I am living in this area, in this way, in this demonstration is not in alignment with who I am. So when Mercury moves through your sign, and especially as Mercury is going to retrograde and then go direct again, it tends to represent a really important time when you start to ask yourself what really matters, but mainly, who are you? How do you identify? How do you fill in that I am blank sentence? And it really is about finding the words and intellectualizing, having that intellectual appreciation of who you are. And so this is going to start a process of some very deep reflection, and ultimately a process that will lead you to answers that I think actually are going to sit very right with you in the fullness of time. You're challenging some notions about your self-concept. And this week, because it's sort of the first time that you're sort of getting to this place where things are, you know, really coming to the surface in some powerful ways, because it's the first, it's going to feel very strong. It is likely to feel very powerful as well. Those of you born smack dab right around the middle of your sign are going to feel this energy more than most. So those of you born right around the 7th or so of your sign are going to feel, or of any given month, if you are born right around the 7th of the month, you're going to feel this energy more than others of your sign might. But every Libra out there should have their own personal moment that ultimately should be very welcomed as part of moving yourself into alignment with a life that feels like it is a true reflection of who you really are. There's also other stuff happening, good stuff happening, particularly in the realm of love. So it looks like love is a very awakening area right about now. Friends want to spend time with you, want to be on your side, and partnerships and what you're understanding as the people you're aligned with romantically or otherwise also seems to be an area that is very, very positive for you right now. So if ever there was a time to be social, this would be it. Now, those are 2 very contrary motivations, okay? So you are going to have to find that balance. On the one hand, there's a motivation to isolate, to hide, to figure things out within yourself, within your own energy, within the privacy of your own heart. And then there's also going to be this move, this drive to get out there, to be with others, to spend time, and to share, and to come to know more about who you are in your life and how people are actually add so much to your life as well. If anything, if you are in an established bond, especially if you're in an established bond, I think this is going to be a time when your partner delights you with some surprise, seems to come out of nowhere, but really makes you feel like I'm totally with the right person. But if you are open to meeting somebody new, it is your friends that are going to be instrumental in making that connection happen for you. Hello, fabulous Scorpio. This week we have got Mercury having a very interesting conversation with your ruling planet, Pluto. We've also got your ancient ruling planet having a supremely harmonious conversation with Uranus. So you put this together and you really are at the heart of the major celestial activity taking place this week. What I really do love about this week for you, as I look at how things are slowly unfolding for you, slowly developing for you, it does look like, on the one hand, there's set to be a part of you that's going to feel that, at least on a level of career and work, it's going to feel like the universe is on your side. It's very likely right around now this week, you might surprisingly run into like one of the big bosses, right? And make an amazingly positive impression. If there's any interview situation that happens right about now, you will excel in it. Any kind of audition situation, you would excel in it this week. Lots of cosmic support to make great things happen. And what I really like about this week as well is that there's a real understanding of what you're doing right now and the new elements and innovations that you're bringing into your day-to-day experience. The work that you do with the clients that you have, if you're self-employed, are actually contributing to a bigger picture success for you as well. So that's where things seem to be going exceptionally well for you, and there's lots of delight on offer. What we also have happening this week is Mercury speaking with your ruling planet, your modern ruling planet. And this to me suggests that I look at this and I think that this is going to be about secrets coming forward, in all honesty. Now, whether that's you, I think you're actually a little bit too controlled. Normally, Scorpios are a little bit more controlled than just allowing things to spill forward. Scorpios are really good at keeping a secret. If there's anyone you want keeping a secret, it's a Scorpio. But I do think that it may be that it's almost as if I'm seeing something's been staring you in the face this whole time and you haven't wanted to look at it, and then it just becomes very blatant. It just becomes very clear, like, okay, look, this is the reality of whether it's what you're doing to yourself, of what's really going on, whether it's in matters of work, matters of agreements, matters of contracts, or even just matters of heart as well. So there's all these different levels that this is playing out at, and it just suggests to me that as your awareness grows, as you come to realize certain things, or at the very least admit certain things to yourself that you haven't wanted to so far, especially where it comes to where you're not happy, wherever it is that you've been dissatisfied, you've been trying to figure out the words to express it, it's just been a feeling. Now it comes to a more intellectual understanding. You find the words to express what you've really been feeling. And this is a huge step forward. This is supremely positive because it suggests to me that you finding those words, you having that awareness, means that you are on the precipice of changing and making positive that which has not felt so good. Now, regardless of what area of life that is in. But particularly, I gotta say, where it comes to matters of heart, where it comes to matters of relationship, if there have been elements playing out that haven't been making you happy, now is the time. If there have been elements playing out that you've been having some questions around, now is the time when you're able to look at it with a much more clearer lens. You're able to look at it from a lens of acceptance. And that alone means that you can begin to transform wherever you are right now to move yourself towards greater love and greater wisdom as well. It starts with the acceptance, and then from there, you're able to transform. As you know, you have that power to transform just about any situation. And especially where it comes to matters that are most meaningful to you, you can transform them very much to your liking. Hello, fabulous Sagittarius. This week we have got Mars and Uranus speaking in fellow fire signs in supreme harmony. I think that you are going to be feeling right with the world. Even though we've got these other conversations playing out in the sky that have more to do with what's happening with you on a level of finances, have more to do with what's happening sort of with bosses or supervisors, putting that aside for just a moment, I'll get back to that in just a moment. Something in you feels right as rain. Something in you just feels like at peace with yourself, feels like there's fun to be had, movement, excitement. There are things to look forward to now. So tap into that energy. Hold that energy. Be mindful of that energy on a heart level for yourself, because that not only is going to help you deal with all the other stuff, but that alone is going to ensure that whatever else it is that is coming up in terms of the work and the bosses and the money, it is put in its right perspective. Ultimately, you are feeling a deep sense of satisfaction, of excitement, of things moving in a positive direction, and they truly are. So don't let the nitty-gritty sort of details, don't like lose yourself in those details, because you actually are making some really wonderful progress and moving yourself in a really positive direction at that. So we've got also, as I said, this conversation between Mercury and Pluto taking place. This to me does say that there might be some questions coming up around money, around does a promotion, how much progress are you actually making financially in alignment with the amount of responsibility that you're feeling as well. So you've got to allow yourself to, on the one hand, be okay with maybe not always knowing the exact answer. And also, you've got to be really sensitive right about now, because it does look like you might say the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person, like somebody who's like a boss or a supervisor, and you don't need to go there. Really, you don't. If you focus on the fact that your life is moving in a positive direction, and if you focus on the fact that there's actually a greater sense of fulfillment taking place for you now, that ultimately is going to be the main thing that helps you more than anything to ensure that you do move your life towards greater prosperity as well, which you certainly are. In matters of love, especially, that's where things feel like they are going really right for you right about now, even though the ruling planet of your opposite sign is doing some interesting things. I still feel that this fire, wonderful, surprising, empowering fire conversation happening is ultimately what's going to end up being most meaningful to you. So if you make love about heart, about joy, about that flutter in your stomach, about the connection you have with another person, about flirting, right? And about the excitement of either meeting somebody new or having that moment with the person that you love, then love also will start to feel even that much more better. Love will be the place that you're able to go to reinforce that sense that your life is certainly moving in a very positive direction. Hello, fabulous Capricorn. This week we have got Mercury speaking with Pluto currently in your sign. And this tells me that a conversation very much needs to happen with someone who is at the level of a boss, someone in a position of authority as well, or some higher up at that. Now, whether this involves you wanting to move up the ladder, a conversation about a promotion for you, or whether this involves more of an assessment type of situation. It does look like some words are going to be coming forward. And so you are going to be having to be mindful as to how you are expressing yourself and the type of energy that you bring, right? They say you are responsible, and please be aware and responsible of the energy that you bring. And so rather than get into a dynamic, or rather than take things a little bit personally, strive instead to bring a level of energy of professionalism, of course. And if you can do that, really, I think that you will find a moment transformed in an instant. If you can bring absolute professionalism. So, you know, in all of us, we have that part of us that wants to be approved of, right? That's why we want our bosses to say, oh, you're doing a good job. That's so great. We want that affirmation. But if you can put that to the side a little bit and instead bring a sense of professionalism, bring a sense of, okay, how are we going to do and accomplish some amazing things together? How is it that we can help each other do what we do together even better? If you can bring that energy to a moment that actually might be formal, okay? So it might be that you actually have to sit across a table with somebody in a supervisory position and sort of state your case, if you will. If that situation should come up, and if you can bring that absolute professionalism, I think you will find you will transform that moment and literally knock it out the park. And what I mean by that is, this can be a time when you make a huge step forward, but you've really got to be mindful of your energy, and you've really got to be clear as to your intention as well. If you've been working on a really big project, right? So if it's been like a really big deal, really big project that has your heart, that has your mind, that has your interest right about now as well, this could be a time when some refinements need to be made, some renegotiations need to happen as part of figuring out and deciding how it is that you are going to go forward from here. In matters of heart, you know, I've been saying to you this whole season, this whole summer season, I've been saying, if it ain't real, if it's in any way superficial, it is not going to work for you. So you really are sort of in a season of wanting the substantial, of wanting something that ultimately has the ability to reach right into your heart and have a love that changes you. It's going to be very hard to just sort of live day to day, even if you're with somebody that you care about very much, even if you're in a committed relationship. So this week, what I do really like about this week is that part of you that wants genuine connection and genuine honesty as well, that wants to move beyond the superfluous and matters of heart, you're able to bring that forward that much more easily, and it's able to fall into place and come together that much more surprisingly and nicely for you as well. So that intention that you have for not just wanting, you know, some fly-by-night thing, but actually wanting to have an exchange that is honest and meaningful to you both, seems to come together in some very surprising and very happenstance kinds of ways that allows you to actually have that need acknowledged and fed. So whether it is, as I said, in an established bond, whether it is that you're dating somebody, or whether it's with someone brand new, one moment really can have a very positive effect on your life because of the honesty that it touches, and can have a transformative effect on your life by some honest glimpse and a more loving glimpse you get into who you are. Hello, fabulous Aquarius. This week we have got your ruling planet speaking in supreme harmony with Mars. So this is amazing. This is empowering for you and really good for you on a lot of different levels. So those of you who are in an established bond, love or business alliances, should find some really positive communications, positive conversations taking place that propel the relationship forward, that make you feel that things are working on your behalf, and that make you feel stronger, make you feel more empowered as well. There's also a real drive right now. It's almost as if there's an awakening happening, if you will, thanks to the one that you are with, that is fueling a desire to be that much closer to that other person as well. It's as if in a moment an understanding sets in and you realize that your life is so much richer and so much better thanks to this person who is with you right now. Also, this week we have a conversation taking place between Mercury and Pluto. Now, what I really like is that Mercury is in fellow air sign Libra, which tells me that you're going to utilize this energy very much to your advantage. And this really has to do with, whereas for some people, like for your opposite sign, this conversation could have to do with, you know, saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, but realizing you're actually saying something really honest that you really didn't want to say. For you, I think that this conversation rather is going to speak a lot more to control, to choosing your words, to realizing that there are things right now you could say that could be hurtful. There are things you could say that maybe would be more honest and surprising to you, but you are going to choose your words wisely. So I actually think that this particular conversation suggests to me that you've got enough of a perspective on the big picture of your life, on the possibilities of your life, so that you can say to yourself that you have a clear sense of direction, you have a clear sense of purpose, and you have a clear sense of the outcome that you desire in any given conversation or exchange that takes place for you this week. And with that clear intention, you will ensure that the right communication takes place to help you to achieve your stated aim. Hello, fabulous Pisces. This week we have got some wonderful conversations taking place for you that have to do with work and money. So work and money seem to be doing really well for you. So all the water signs out there have some positive energy this week playing out where it comes to elements of work, or in some cases career, or in some cases money. For you, it's very much about the work you're doing and the money that you are earning. If you are self-employed, you can attract a client right about now, really big clients. So it's almost as if a really big order comes in, or a really impressive client falls into place for you right about now. For those of you who are working within a team or within an organization, this could be a time when you present an idea or come up with an idea that actually helps the organization make more money, do what it needs to do more effectively, and ultimately you end up proving your worth and what you bring to the table that much more. And this really could be like just surprisingly getting called in for an evaluation that goes extremely well and that you end up with a raise as a result, very much to your liking at that. In other news and in other parts of the chart, we do have Mercury also speaking with Pluto. Now, Pluto right now is slowly but surely moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with friends, okay? And we have got Mercury right now moving through a part of the sky for you that has to do with money, like large sums of money. And they're having this conversation that's not so easy. And this actually is going to be the first of 3 conversations that these 2 planets are going to have over the coming weeks. So it's just like it sounds, right? Difficult conversations between friends and money. This is not the time to mix friends and money. This is certainly not a great time, in all honesty. If you are asked, invited to invest in a friend's idea, if you can think of it as a gift, that's great. But if you can't, if this is money you're thinking that you need to get back, you're going to have to look at that as well. What we also have taking place here with this particular conversation is it can also go the other way, where it might be you that is thinking about reaching out to a friend, asking for some money, asking for some help financially, whether it's for charity or a cause that matters to you. I would really encourage you, if you can, to resist that urge, right? Put a post up, make it a general post, and leave it at that. Just instead of actively engaging or asking, if you can, just slow down a little bit, because I know that there might be times when really it feels like you don't have any other choice. That might be the case. And then in that case, you have to trust your circumstances, right? It's going to play out the way that it needs to. But just know that if you are going to be going to a friend, asking them to either invest or to lend or to share, just know that it's going to end up being a thing that drags out for a longer time than necessarily will be good for the friendship or will be comfortable to you. So just step back a little bit and be mindful before you go that route. And also try your best to be really honest and really clear to set their expectations as well, because it does look like ultimately, look, you're loved, you have people who care about you very much, people who want to help you very much, but you've got to find a way to allow things to fall into place so that ultimately it sits right in your soul and allows you to feel like you're not sacrificing the friendship in the process. Now, where it comes to love this week, You know, I actually think that it is really all about the eclipse that's happening next week. So you're building over the course of this week. You should be feeling this build happening. There are big changes, big positive breakthroughs set to take place in the realm of love for you, as I spoke about in your love-focused horoscope for the month of September. So you are going to want to watch that again. I think in matters of heart, it's like you're going to feel like there's a breakthrough coming. You're going to be feeling like, okay, yeah, we're about to go into a whole new territory together. Or you may feel like, you know what, I do feel ready for love. I do want to be open for love. And it may actually surprise you. It may actually seem to come out of nowhere and fall into place. So this is the time when the universe is going to start to put things as part of the mystery into place. So this is going to be the time when, you know, out of nowhere, you sort of might get an invite somewhere and you think, I don't know, I'll see how I feel on that day. And that might be the very thing that helps you to meet that person that you end up having a very strong connection with. This could also be a time when, like, if you are in a committed relationship where your spouse says, you know what, I've been thinking maybe I should ask about that transfer. Maybe I should ask about if I can take on more assignments. And that ends up creating this ripple effect where wonderful changes take place for your partner that benefit you in immense and positive ways as well. So this is when the whisperings start to take place and the really big payoffs start to happen toward the end of the week, and especially once we get into next week as well. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it with you then. Well, thank you so much to all signs out there. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.